We're living through the planned destruction of America. If you haven't been paying attention, you need to. If you have been paying attention, you know that what I said is right. That's what we want to talk about today. It's in response to a question that I got on a previous video. By the way, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I am Steve Smith. It's good to have you all here. Welcome to all the new people and all the new people over on Patreon. It's great to have you. You all are getting a lot out of that over there, aren't you? If you're not with us on Patreon, the link is down below and you should be. Had a question here in response to the one I did the other day about the homeless invasion, essentially, of our country, not just from the southern border, but from the rural areas into the cities. This is a major problem, and the increase in violent homeless people. I had a question from Karen, and she says, there's not so much homeless in Europe. Why is it in the U.S.? That's a good question, and it's a question that all the commies would like to answer by saying, well, it's because, you know, communism and socialism and all that, provides for all the people, which of course is crap. You know that. Even if you've been to government schools, you know that. No, that's not the reason. The reason is that the collapse of the United States, the destruction of the United States, is planned, and we're going through it right now. I'll talk about that. By the way, I just had breakfast. I wanted to mention something to you. I had 2 steaks for breakfast. Steve, what kind of a breakfast is 2 steaks? Well, it's a carnivore breakfast. And I've talked about carnivore a little bit over on the Patreon channel again. If you have any maladies, any medical maladies, any physical maladies, if you're overweight, if you think that you're getting out of shape because you're getting older and you are not on the carnivore diet, you are missing out. I'm just going to say that, but I'm going to say this. I was just watching today a video made by Cynthia over at Roots, Rocks, and Feathers, and I suggest you all go over there and find this one. She was interviewing a friend of hers. They're both on carnivore, and they talk about it. And now you have two just normal people. Cynthia might say, well, I'm not normal. But yeah, just 2 normal people as opposed to doctors, right, who promote this. Talking about the many benefits of the carnivore diet. So go over Roots, Rocks, and Feathers. If you're not subscribed to her, you should be. Okay. She talks a lot about chickens, but she talks a lot about, and not that that's not important, it is. But she talks about a lot of things that we all are concerned about. So good video, Cynthia, and she'll probably leave a comment down here. Hopefully she will, and then you can just click that and go to, find out who she is, and you should. I don't recommend very many channels. So, why is the United States experiencing the problems that we are? And it is, as I said, because we are in the midst of a planned destruction of our country. Why would they want to destroy the country? But more importantly, I want to talk about what you can do about it, okay? And there will be some who say, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, to an extent that's true, but I'm gonna flesh that out a little bit. I'm gonna talk about that. Because that is a give up attitude, okay? And I'm not a give up guy. I can't stand the people who say there's nothing that I can do, okay? Because there's always something you can do if you will simply be willing to look for it, look at it, and then do it. I'm having a sip. Grab a cup of coffee if you'd like. If you have a Stone Mountain mug, coffee tastes better out of it, or tea or whatever. I drink butter in my coffee, another way to get fat, which you need on the carnivore diet, and I feel great. When did this destruction begin? I'm going to cover that very quickly. It began in the 60s with Lyndon Johnson's Great Society. And I'm probably going to put up, maybe I'll attach it to this on the Patreon channel. There is an outstanding interview of Joe Brown. If you guys know Joe Brown, the judge, about what happened to America, it's 2 hours long. but I'll put the link to it over on Patreon. It is a year's worth of wisdom in 2 hours. You know, I don't have time to watch for 2 hours, so I'll watch 10 minutes at a time, and then 10 minutes, and probably the same as you. Watch that. You will be glad you did. It explains so much. Some will say, and I would agree with this, that the real push started in the 1960s with Lyndon Johnson and his push for Great Society, all the welfare programs that destroyed the families, which then destroyed the country. Some will go back to that. They'll go back to FDR. Some will go back before that. They'll go back to Woodrow Wilson. Some will go to 1913 with the creation of the Fed. All of those are a part of the fabric. Okay, all of those are a part of the plan to destroy our country, and it has and is succeeding, as you know. The country that I grew up in no longer exists. If you're my age, you agree with me. You know that. If you're younger than I am, the country, the way it was when you were younger, is the way the country, the way you see it, right? And I'll simply tell you that if you're younger than me, any time since I was a child was not as good as when I was a child. Now, no, we didn't have iPhones, and we didn't have tablets, and we didn't have computers, and we didn't have smart TVs, and we didn't have all of this stuff, but it was a better life. It simply was a better life. Families were together. They were united. Not everything wasn't perfect, and it's never been perfect. We're not talking about perfection. We're talking about life as a way it should be, until really technology and this plan to destroy the American family and America as a country began. So rather than hash all that out, and you don't need me telling you all the different things that are happening, destroying our country, and it's being done by our government and half of our citizens who support communistic plans for our country. They're bringing enemies into our country. They're excusing behavior, whatever. Okay. Here's the thing. What can you do about it? The answer is you can't do anything about it. Well, then why are you making this video, Steve? Well, here's the thing. You can't save the world. I can't save the world. The world's not going to be saved until the good Lord himself comes back. You can't save this country, and I can't save this country. And I don't think that any of the movements coming around are going to save the country. Now, it may, it depends on what happens with this next presidential election. It may reverse again. We've seen reversals in the past. Okay, Jimmy Carter was destroying the country. Ronald Reagan came back, and things improved, right? Obama destroyed the country. Trump came in. Things improved. There will be some who will say that they'll bring up things they didn't like about Trump. I don't care. The country was better. The economy was better. Our position in the world was better. Gas was $1.79. Inflation was very low. There were jobs booming all over the place. That's the truth. And anybody who wants to argue with that is simply going to argue with the truth, showing their ignorance. The first thing about being able to deal with a situation is seeing the truth of it. And there's simply too many people in our country who refuse, either can't because of ignorance or refusal to see, to address the truth and to go where it leads them. They'd rather hold on to their personal idiosyncrasies and their personal hatreds rather than admit that, maybe something, the truth disagrees with what they want to believe. But here's the thing. Here's the real lesson. You can't stop it. You are going to live through, we are going to live through the destruction of the United States of America. That's sad, but, it's coming. It's here. If you've read John Glubb's Fate of Empires, you know that, and I write about this in my books, the average age, the average length of any empire is about 250 years. We're there when you read his paper, and I highly suggest you do. You can find it online in PDF. It'd take you half an hour to read it. You see that we're in the decline. He goes through many of the empires in history, shows exactly what happened to them. We're doing the same thing. We're allowing those to who consume. We've gotten to the point where the parasites are living off the work of the producers. I write about this in my book too, in my books. And that's unsustainable, simply because the producers will finally either be destroyed or give up, or just say, hey, I've had it with this. I'm exiting the system. I'm going galt, you know. And many people have done that. Other people are still trying to control, to fight the good fight, and I commend them for that. I don't think that they're silly. But here's the thing. Here's what you can do. You can't control the world. You can control your world. You can control what you do to prepare yourself to get through this disaster that we're in the middle of and seems to be growing, okay? The destruction of a once great country. You don't have to let it affect you. Think about that for a minute. If you let it affect you, it's your choice. Now, some people will say, well, it's not my choice. The whole country's falling apart. What can I do? You can prepare. You can prepare for it. I always beat the drum of separate yourself from dependence on all those external, interrelated systems over which you have little or no control. Okay? Food, water, energy, protection, shelter, all of these things. You can separate yourself from that. How do you do it? It takes work. It takes determination. It takes focus. It takes a plan. And it takes money. And that's where a lot of people just won't go because, it takes money. Well, I don't have any money. Well, go make some. Well, I don't have enough money. Well, then go make more. You see, that's a major part. When I talk about the bees, how everybody talks about beans, bullets, and Band-Aids. Okay, well, I add a couple more, one of which is bucks. The money is going to help you get out of there. Now, you can still make money in this economy. You can make a lot of money in this economy if you're willing to go get it. The money helps you to prepare. How do you prepare? How should you prepare? And some will say, well, there's no way. There's no way that you can prepare to withstand what's coming. Okay, what they've just said is they're just waiting to get on the bus. Are you waiting to get on the bus? I hope not. I mean, if you are, if there's somebody here who's waiting to get on the bus, I'm sorry. I won't, when the time comes, I won't be seeing you because I'm not going to be on the bus, nor are a lot of other people. And the ones who have accepted the responsibility and taken the responsibility to prepare to successfully live through those times and stay separate from the system, well, they're going to be out here living a much better life where they're not standing in line for their next bowl of gruel. Government gruel. Thank you, Uncle Sugar, for my latest thin, almost looks like chicken noodle soup, right? Except without the chickens or the noodles. If you want to know, and if you're serious about this, people will say, well, there's no way. There's no way to prepare for that. Yes, there is. It's in here. This is the point where I raise up our sponsor, my books. Yes. The Stonemont series. Okay. And people have been learning from these since 2017. And I say it is the complete plan for preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding, which is important, after a total collapse of everything. If you're serious about this and you haven't read these, I suggest this be the very next thing you do. Okay. You can get them on Amazon, but you can also get them directly from me on our website, which the links are down below. Also, the link is also below if you want to join us on Patreon. I suggest you do. through our stonemont.us website, stonemont.us. That's where you get them. I get to sign them for you if you buy them through our website, and I love doing that. We just had one of our great patrons buy 2 complete sets. It's his 9th and 10th set that he buys complete sets. I sign them, and he sends them to friends. He gives them to friends as gifts. What could be a better gift than that to help other people prepare? That's what you need to do. All this other stuff. If you're prepared for a complete collapse, you're prepared for all the mini collapses. That's the thing. And even if you're just beginning, I suggest you don't set your sights on just the smaller things. Okay, I know that when people are beginning, okay, I want a month's food supply. Good. But quickly turn that into 6 months, and then a year, and then 2 years, and then finally 7 years, as I suggest. And also develop the ability to produce your own food, because the only purpose of stored food is to keep you alive until you're producing all your own food. But Steve, there's no way a person can do that. Read my books. Now, we're going to live through this disaster. Hopefully you're going to live through it. Okay? We're going to live through this destruction of our country. So what happens next? What comes out the other side? And this is why I stress, the first book is about surviving it. The second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and now seventh, and I think the series is going to conclude with an 8th book. I may have to go more than that to bring everything together, but we'll see. Is about rebuilding. If you're not thinking about rebuilding, you're not really thinking about preparedness. You have to think about what next. When it all comes crashing down, here I am, now what? Okay? We can't avoid the destruction. What we can avoid, hopefully, is the destruction of our own lives and our families. You have to do everything you can to ensure the safety, security, and ongoing well-being of your family. Because the family is the building block of community. And after the fall of the United States, there's going to be something else coming. That's the question. What's it going to be? And that's going to be up to the people who are left. We'll see. Okay. At the end, I always say, we prepare well in order to live well tomorrow. And living well is always the goal. The rest of the world can do what they like. The World Economic Forum, the globalists, the controligarchs, as now everyone is calling them, they can do what they want. You are the one who decides how much it affects you. And to that end, I have some things up over on Patreon where I talk about how organized crime, how mob groups lived next to, outside the system, ensured that their families were taken care of. Very important lessons. I suggest you watch some of those. And for those of you following the Audible of my reading of The Revival, I think it's back here. Yep, there it is. The Revival, I think we're up to chapter 10 now, over there that's over on the Patreon channel. At the Stonemont level, that's the 2nd level. So if you want to hear me read the Audible of my books, that's how you do it. Remember, if you want to buy them, which I suggest because it's always good to have hard copies. We have most people already have the hard copies, and now they're listening to me read them. So you can do it while you're driving around and doing other things, so you don't have to look at me. Because I don't sit here and read, so you're watching me read. I show the picture of the book. Do that. Immerse yourself in it. Learn it. And if you'd like to buy the books, remember that they are down below, either through Amazon or through our website, stonemont.us. But the important thing is, regardless of what you do, otherwise, prepare so that you and your family will not be destroyed during the destruction of our country, because it's coming on. So that was a long answer to Karen's question, why does Europe not have the homeless problems that the United States does? It's because this has all been part of a plan. Okay. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. You're going to live tomorrow according to how you prepare today. So get out there and do something, and do your best and do all you can, because you will never be sorry that you did too much. But if you didn't do enough, the day will come where you may be very sorry. Have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.